Good evening. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is David Okun, and today we will be talking about the help given by the United Kingdom, by the UK government, to its people who need help due to conditions of poverty. And the United Kingdom is the sixth richest country in the world. So the people of the United Kingdom do not have many things, including land. They cannot access land. They do not have. They cannot grow their own food. They depend on money for their basic necessities. That's why in the United Kingdom, the government actually gives help to people who need help. And if you live outside the UK, understand what happened in the United Kingdom. It is relevant what happened in the United Kingdom. And because of globalization, and people who are interested in learning, listen to this video. Also go on gov.uk, which is the website of the government website in the United Kingdom. And also, even if you are outside, you can still search online, try and understand what I'm talking about. And if there's a problem, such as the cost of living crisis, which is opening around the world, you are responsible for solving the problem. To the extent that the government actually solve this problem, then you actually access help accordingly. And if you're watching this video, watch this with the rest of the video because they are connected. If you watch only this video, you might not understand everything I've been talking about because they are connected. I've been talking about other aspects of universal credit. I will be now focusing to try and go through process of talking about universal credit. Universal credit is money given in the United Kingdom by the United Kingdom government to people who need it. And we have already discussed, I will be repeating some of the points going forward. And sometimes you get this benefit if you are sick, something called limited capability for work, related activity for work. Now, if you have difficulty working or doing similar activities, then you it is important to show you have a limited capability for work or limited capability for work related activity as soon as possible. So if you have a condition, you are best to actually contact the authorities, and if you are making a new claim, and use the application form to tell the Department of Work and Pension about your disability or health condition. And you should explain how the disability or condition makes it hard for you to work. Because you see, it is how these conditions affect your life that matters to the government. It's not the medical condition per se. You actually visit government website to try and find this information, because you see your life is on the line if you don't get help in a country in the developed world, in a country like the United Kingdom, in the developed world, and also if you're in Africa. Things are changing very quickly now with technology and with more wealth. Things will be changing rapidly in Africa. With land is being taken away by the government and by other people, given away to the super rich. And we have discussed this also, and pay attention to what we are talking about. So if you're already getting universal credit, you can use the report a change of circumstances tab on your online account or call the universal credit line. And you can find this information online. And like I said in the other videos, watch these videos alongside the other videos. And the details are actually there, and be good to yourself and go online, get the details. You can also get something called known as a fit note. A fit note is information you get from the doctor to say you are sick, to say you're not able to work. It doesn't sound like it in this information because it used to be called sick note, but because the government attitude in the UK is to argue that sick people can work, so they have changed the name from sick note to fit note, because the attitude is that the sick people should go to work. And mysteriously, because of benefit, they have actually changed the meaning of sickness. That sick people can work and they should be working. So if you are a sick person, because, for the government to avoid giving you benefit, they're going to argue that you are sick, but you're able to work. Now, this is the reason the government is behaving like this, because it's shutting down the public sector. Shutting down the public sector by selling it off to private companies who will shut it down ultimately. Because, you see, with public sector, if the government does not make profit, if the company, the business does not make profit, it doesn't matter how big the business is, it will shut it down. Unless the government can bail it out. The government no longer has money, because over the decades, it has been selling off the country in the UK to private companies and to private individuals who own these companies. The super rich, who are actually getting more and more wealthy. Wealth under the economic system of capitalism is being concentrated more and more in the hand of the few, from the hand taken away from the hand of the many. We live in a world where if you're rich, you get richer. If you're poor, you get poorer. If you have wealth, you have the wherewithal to get richer. And you have the unfortunate calamity of being poor. So we live in a world where if you are poor, do your best to get out of poverty and also get into wealth to survive. Because we live in a modern jungle known as the market economic infrastructure, economic system, called marketization. Everything is up for sale. So even your country is being sold. If you live in the UK, you live in any part of the world, because it's global. I've said this in all the videos, and I will continue saying it. Thank you everyone who have been helping to subscribe, sharing with family and friends, clicking the notification bell, leaving a comment, having a conversation, and also clicking like. Subscription is free. You don't have to pay anything. What you have to do is click. Join in the conversation. You take responsibility for your life. If you don't get much help from this channel, go somewhere else. Over 2.2 billion people access YouTube every year. Over 200, probably 100 million, I can't remember the statistic. I'm not good at maths. But 100 million access every month. So you are one of them. So YouTube, my gratitude to the people who started it. Do you understand who started the YouTube channel? Thank them. And I'm also grateful for people who have been giving feedback, especially positive feedback. We learn through experience, and I'm so delighted. So you get something called a fit note. You should be sick note. Fit note means even if you're sick, you are fit for the purposes of work. You still get the information from the doctor or from a pharmacy in the United Kingdom and take it to the Department of Work and Pension to prove you are sick, or to prove you are fit but not fit enough to work, or to prove the DWP, Department of Work and Pension, that you are fit enough for work even if you're sick. Such that people who are sick are taken through a process of health assessment, which in practice, every sick person trying to get benefit will fail the test. And this is not because they have done something wrong, because the government is trying to avoid at all costs paying the money they don't have. The government cannot have money if it has sold of the country. The people of Britain, the British people maybe are happy with the government selling off the country. Maybe they are not. But you can't, the British people, you can't have a cake and eat it. If the government sells the country, it means you have to find money from somewhere to buy it. The rich are getting richer, the poor are getting richer, poorer. So if you don't have money, you are on your own, you are excluded from the world, including in Africa, because capitalism is going there. I have nothing personal against capitalism. But my matter is with humanity. The humanity must learn its culture. Learning its culture to respect itself, to respect other people. I have actually maintained this mantra, and I'm not afraid to continue because it is humanitarian lifeline. It doesn't matter if you are a ruling class or a slave, your master or a servant. We are all in this together because we face one fate, extinction. And if the environmentalists actually are capable of defending the environment and they call it extinction rebellion, they are probably having a point. Because we failing to understand the value of our culture, respecting humanity, prioritizing humanity, respecting your family, you're respecting yourself, you're respecting your community, then we are in serious trouble. It doesn't matter how rich we become. Capitalism produces growth and wealth, but it doesn't produce respect for self and for others. So we fight. Ukraine do not respect Russia. Russia does not respect Ukraine, so they kill each other. They don't respect life. Life is cheap in the Middle East, in Africa, in Europe, on the streets. Children are actually killing children. Adults are killing adults. We have no respect. Regardless what we do, we are doomed to failure. So you get a footnote. You will also need to send the DWP a footnote from your doctor. The footnote confirm your disability or health condition to the DWP, Department of Work and Pension. So you can get a footnote from your GP or another doctor, registered nurse, chemist, occupational therapist, physiotherapist, different health care personnel can provide that option. The problem with these personnel, they are all private companies. They lack resources. The government should finance the public sector, whether through public service, public companies or private companies. Whenever government says they provide public sector or private sectorally based public service, it is upon the government to finance these services which cannot be provided if there is no funding. So your footnote will be either printed or digital. We have entered the age of digitization, but up to a point we can still print things analogously. So the printing economy is also being digitized in its own right. But you don't probably need to print anything. You can still function given the progress we have achieved with technology. If you are not sure which kind you'll get and how you'll get it, check with the healthcare professionals. If you get a printed footnote, check that the healthcare professional has signed it. If you get a digital footnote, check that it includes the healthcare professional's name. If the healthcare professional hasn't either signed your footnote or included their name, it could be rejected by the Department of Work and Pension, and you might not have to get a new one. You might have to get a new one. These are actually bureaucracy produced by the government, unnecessarily, in my opinion, to prevent the British people from getting help which the government has promised. In other words, in so complicating policy and practices, the government in its process, in its discourses, in these proceedings, if in effect actually fail to provide support for the British people. So you should always keep your footnote. You might have to pay for replacement if you lose or delete it. These are conditions, tough measures. The nitty-gritty, without evidence, without compliance, you don't get help. And this help is so small. It's a humiliation. It's a typical master-slave relationship. British government having no respect for the British people. The benefit system is a classical example of a government and of a state which has lost its way, is moving blindly into, a fatal, oblivion, if you like to say. And so people have to wake up and seek emancipation from every form of slavery, including mental slavery, physical slavery, which the benefit system actually shows. You are humiliated, you are treated like a child, you have no dignity, the Department of Work and Pension has no respect. The British politicians are shameless, and their government, their ministers are shameless, because they actually pay pittance to the British people in benefit, in employment. This should not happen in a rich country, the sixth richest country, where the richest people are actually measured in multi-billion, sooner or later to be measured in multi-trillion of pounds. While, more and more are languishing in poverty, trapped in employment, where the level of pay is pathetically constricted under a perverted form of national minimum or national minimum wage or living wage. Doesn't matter what you call it. And this needs to stop, because the objective of any employment and its accompanying laws and policies in the United Kingdom, in addition to actually the financial help given like the universal credit, at the heart of its objective within the UK policy and practices should be to get the British people out of poverty once and for all. And in my opinion, we need at least £20,000 in benefit, perhaps £30,000 in minimum wage for people who work full time in the United Kingdom. This is from the top of my head. The experts can actually do better than me and get the British people out of poverty. The fact that there is the cost of living crisis means the government has failed and is creating more and more problems, because there will be no peace for the wicked if rich people don't get out of poverty sooner or later. There is nowhere to run for the rich and the poor in a country of injustice. You see, we need an emancipative escape route through cultural economic reform. Respect for people, respect for others. And that is the mantra. So you can actually get alternatives to footnote. The Department of Work and Pension can accept as evidence if it's unreasonable to expect someone to provide a footnote. For example, if you're having difficulty engaging with services. For example, also, sometimes you cannot find the doctor at all. Sometimes you go to a pharmacy or to some of the services, because they are private companies. Even the family doctors are actually private. They don't have resources. They don't have the time to waste. They are there to manage their business, to cut costs. And you are the cost. The patients in Britain is the cost. So the patients in the UK are not going to be treated by private companies unless they have money. They cannot have money if they are still facing the miserable condition of the minimum wage and national living wage, and the miserably complicated and punishing pernicious system of financing for people who need help, like universal credit. This need to change, and if you change now, the sooner the better. Otherwise, there will be no peace for the wicked. There will be nowhere to run for the rich and for the poor, because we manufacture violence, whether you are rich or poor. We are responsible for stopping it. We have the power to change culturally. Thank you so much, everybody who have been supporting this process. I will never forget you. I will never forget YouTube. I will never forget the British government, the British people, people of the world, the government of the world. You have been so resilient. You have created fantastic technology. You created wealth. What we now need is to tidy up, to clean up and start redistributing wealth willingly. The rich should start giving money willingly to community-based, family-based, individually-based organizations, which are going to actually provide charitable work or non-profit services, so that some of the wealth concentrated in the hands of a few. It doesn't even need to be taxes. I mean, rich people don't need to be taxed. They have to operate within common sense, giving what they have to people who do not have is common sense. The royal family, the people or the ministers, Prime Minister of Britain, ministers, leaders of the opposition. I mean, you can give £2 per month to a charity of your choice. Charity who are actually helping people to provide food, energy, housing, healthcare, because the government can no longer give. And if there are to be such sources of help to complement government departments, which have run out of money, these charities or non-profit organizations should be giving financial support to individuals who are, instead of actually failing, struggling to get benefit from the government has shut down, so that the government can talk to fellow friends in the rich quarters to help small and medium organizations which are non-profit to give cash help. And condition of accessing this cash should be easy. You don't work, you're on low income, even if you are working on the current minimum wage, which actually keeps people in poverty, because any objective of support should be to get British people out of poverty in terms of development, in terms of culture. We are a work in progress. We need to actually start afresh from families, from communities. We have to do what is right. We, the people, poor, rich, male, female, whoever you are, you cannot have our cakes and eat it. We have to have respect, doing what is right. You don't do wrong things and expect right results. And we are actually communities of actually disobedience. Children do not respect adults. Adults do not respect children. Men and women do not respect each other. Countries do not respect each other. That's why they fight. That's why they kill each other. That's why they destroy the world. Are you not seeing the climate change? What created it? Human beings. How? Let us find out how humans are actually destroying nature, the environment, creating climate change. The statistics, the facts are there, human activity. We are supposed to be masters of our activity, but also the activity of nature. We have to control our actions and the action of nature to actually produce cleaner environment. We have to really, be responsible for our world. It is our duty. Whether you are poor, whether you are rich, it is really supposed to get out of poverty if you are poor. You don't need to wait for the government. I'm not contradicting myself. You don't have to wait for charity or non-profit organization. If they are helping, fine. If not, get yourself out of poverty. Speak to your head. Think of getting out of poverty by starting to create wealth one way or the other. If you have to come into communities and begin building things, creating your own technology, doing your own learning, growing your own food, to speak to your local member of parliament, to give you allotments within the local authority, grow your own food, produce your own energy, build your own houses, negotiate with the local authorities to change planning permission, to give land to the British people to build their own homes, and the government and the super rich should contribute financially to family, communities, and big and small and medium businesses to support each other for the British people to create their health centers, produce their own medical doctors, also inventors and innovators, discoverers, people who can create technology, nanotechnology, 3D printer, within individual cycles, within family and community. Before the British government shut down, we need ordinary people to access technology directly, accessing wealth and owning wealth at the small, medium, and large levels. Everyone is supposed to be having enough wealth to live on, to access the world resources beginning now. And this is what this message is about. This is what it is intended to do. We can actually do this together. So you can, if you are going back to universal credit, you can check if you are sick for purposes of benefit, something called limited capability for work or limited capability for work-related activities. Watch the other videos. I've explained these concepts in details, so I'm merely repeating them. So there is something called automatism in benefit accessing. If you are terminally ill, for example, you get it automatically. If it is good enough for terminally ill people to get benefit automatically, you don't need to be sick to get benefit automatically. Everybody who needs help, you don't have to be sick. We are not witches and wizards to only decide to help people who are actually dying. How about the living? We should also concentrate more resources on people who are still alive. Where is the love? Why do you make it impossible to give a benefit to people who are alive, people who are healthy, people who are also working? If you work on the minimum wage, you should be, even if you're working full time and working, 35 hours per week and earning maybe £1,000 and above, unless you're earning more than £2,000, you should be getting the full amount of benefit to top up your lack of payment from small and medium business employees. That is the best way for the government to support small and medium businesses, because they're not able to pay enough money for the people who work for them. Everybody on minimum wage should get the full amount of benefit. Beginning today, beginning this April. If this April is too soon, then next financial year, people on minimum wage, on national living wage, who only rely on minimum wage, which is about £10 an hour, should get the full universal credit, standard allowance at least. If they are sick, they should get it automatically. The only test for sick people in terms of benefit accessing is automatism, which is now a condition given to people who are terminally ill. And that should be the rule for everybody. You don't need to be sick to get benefit. If you are healthy, you should even get more benefit than sick people, because you have more responsibility than sick people. You have to get your children out of poverty. Alongside maximizing, increasing income, there should be support, family, community. This support base should be actually applied to enable households in the United Kingdom to manage debts and actually finances. This is essential to get the British people out of poverty, and this must be number one priority. We don't want the government to be involved in the war in the Middle East, or the war in Iraq, or in you don't go to solve foreign issues stop disturbing immigrants. They are not the problem of Britain. They are not the reason the British people are living in poverty. Immigrants are not the reason why the health sector has failed. The health sector has failed because it's shutting down. The government is not funding it. The government should start funding this. If it doesn't have money, it should go to multimillionaires and multimillionaires and ask them nicely. Because the government thinks taxation is a form of sin. If it is a form of sin, especially taxing the super rich, to get some of their money to invest in the NHS, in the National Health Service, in schools, and in public transport, in housing. People are now going onto the street, homelessness. People are being accused falsely for failing to pay their rent. They don't have money. They are not supposed to pay rent. The government should change the law for people on minimum wage. They should not pay rent in the UK. They should not pay council tax in the UK because they are on the minimum wage. The minimum wage is actually a poor payment, the poor policy, keeping the British people poor, and more because technology is taking over wealth, work from the middle class. The middle class are going to join the lower class. So if you are actually the middle class, stop sleeping, thinking that you are okay. If you think you are okay, you continue sleeping. The next morning, that is what happened to Lehman Brothers in the United Kingdom. The underwriting banks in the city. Employees woke up the following morning. People who are paid to the tune of maybe 40,000, 50,000 pounds per annum. They think they are arrived, and they were, and only to wake up one morning and they were jobless. Probably some of them committed suicide or did something similar to committing suicide. And going forward, people who are actually technocrats, the professionals who are earning in the middle income range, are going to be shocked because technology are going to take away in the next 50 to 100 years, beginning now. So, if actually poor people are complaining about poverty, don't think you are excluded because you don't have anything. You rely on an employer who is increasingly now reintegrating its workforce from human-based to technologically based. And it is working. Go to the supermarket. The supermarket is a primary representative of the retail sector. The retail sector is the #1 employer of young people in the United Kingdom. And it is on the decrease because 50% now is being operated by the machine, including big warehouses where robots are now. With the introduction of artificial intelligence, autonomous vehicles, conveyor belts, and driverless cars and vans and trucks, delivery vans. Warehouses in the next 10, 20, 50 years is going to be run by robots. During COVID-19 in China and other places, robots were already assisting as auxiliary personnel to distribute medicine, to support patients. Robotics are here. 3D printers here. Nanotechnology are here, which is a good thing, but we have to manage them peacefully. Otherwise, we will weaponize this thing. Let us go back to universal credit. So, if you are going to get limited capability for work, this is policy as it starts now. You're going to get limited capability for work limited capability for work, or limited capability for work related activity. You will usually need to fill in another form to go to for a medical assessment. I've already mentioned medical assessment several times. This process usually takes a few months. Why? Why a few months? It should take 24 hours. Delay is the mother of all offenses in terms of public service. When you phone your doctor, you wait for 2 hours and the doctor is not there. When the phone is answered, an administrator answers the phone at the hospital and tells you they have run out of appointments. Okay, can you book me an appointment? No, we don't pre-book appointments. Call tomorrow. Can I come to the hospital? No, don't come to the hospital without appointment. Which means there is no more general practitioners. Family doctors have shut down. That is what it means. So the British people will one day wake up to an empty country in terms of healthcare. So you have to wait for so long for operations, vital operations. The family doctor keeps sending text messages for health checks. Why should somebody do health checks when they cannot actually book appointment? How are they going to do that if they cannot book appointment with the doctor? You are given links. What if you I am not supposed to know the link sent to me is from the hospital? You send me to click a link. What if it is a clone? What if it is a virus, computer virus? I am not supposed to know. If I phone the hospital, I won't actually confirm that because nobody is going to answer the phone. You're sending me a link and you're sending me an app which doesn't work. I have registered for an app which doesn't work. I should be contacting GP, book an appointment with this app, but it doesn't work. And I can't change it. If I go to the hospital, if I go to the GP, they can't help. So they don't have any resources because this system has shut down. There is no money. These are private companies who are trying to make profit. Even if the government actually gives them money, they don't give enough because these are actually very greedy private investors. But not just greed, but the nature of the market. You have to maximize your profit. It's fair enough. You have to maximize your profit. Otherwise, you're going to lose you're going to be outcompeted, and you're going to die in terms of your business. You're going to die. And the government should not smell a rat when it's sort of the public sector, when it's sort of public sector service to private companies. They should have smelled a rat that you are sending public services to the jungle, known as the market system. Eat dog. Cat. What is it? Is it cat and mouse? Is it? Ruthlessness. It's like a jungle. So you wait for a few months. The process of health assessment, you've applied for sickness benefit. The government promise they're going to pay sickness benefit. They don't. No, they don't. They should tell the British people the truth. They don't pay it. Because if they pay it, you should get it within 24 hours from application to processing. If you're sick, you only need sickness note. The government, the doctor says, or whoever, says, if you say you are sick, and you just bring proof like medic. If the Department of Work and Pension want to know that you are sick, they should send you to get fit note. They should phone the doctor because they are the one wanting to know. You tell them, they don't believe you. They think you are stupid. They think you are a thief. They have no respect for you. If you go and tell them you are sick, they should give you sickness benefit. You are sick. If they want to know, let them phone the doctors. They don't send you there to get evidence. If I have prescription medicine, I still don't get listened to. The government doesn't give me benefit. They still take me to do health assessment, which I fail. It doesn't matter how sick I am. They want me to die within 6 months or 12 months to give me benefit automatically. Everybody should get benefit automatically as soon as you see that they're on medication. You see a letter from a doctor giving prescription to a patient, to a client, so-called customer. You take this information, it's enough, fill a form. The form should take 20 minutes, not 2 hours. Sometimes our claimants have to use professionals who do not get funding from anywhere, who are short of staff. You see, they cannot even help, even if they know how to help. These claimants who are extremely sick, some of them cannot even get out of bed. Some of them are not able to get to the toilet. They have to actually wet themselves because the government cannot provide social care. Nurses cannot go. Some of these patients should be in the hospital because there is no bed. They are sent home to be sick at home because the government cannot provide bed. And if they are home, the government cannot provide health care from home because the local authority says these people are not sick enough. Even if they are so sick, you go and some people cannot even talk. They have had strokes. They are suffering from heart conditions. They are so crippled they can't even move. The government say they do not need help from nurses, from carers. Even they cannot clean, they cannot cook. The government cannot help them. The benefit given cannot even pay for carers, and the government make these people pay for carers. They make them borrow money from families. They make them spend the benefit they don't have. They make these people homeless because they cannot pay for their rent because of sickness. The government has abandoned the British people, and this is a case across the globe. Britain is the ringleader. So let us look at universal credit. So in some situation, you won't have to fill in the form or go to an assessment. You will get limited capability for work or limited capability for work-related activity automatically. You might get limited capability for work or limited capability for work-related activity automatically if you are pregnant. You have to pregnant you have to get pregnant. If you're a man, how are you going to get pregnant to get benefit? If you are getting employment support allowance, ESA, when you apply for universal credit, you get it automatically. What if you are not getting it? A lot of people are no longer on employment support allowance. Employment support allowance is also subjected to health assessment. A lot of people don't get it in practice. So you are over state pension age and getting other benefits, such as pension credit, maybe state pension. If it's good enough for all elderly people, it's good enough for young people. Young people, your dogs, they should be treated well. Everybody should be treated well. If you are in the hospital or quarantine, it means you don't get benefit. Or if you get benefit, then you get it under a different condition. If you have cancer treatment or recovery from it, if you have a serious illness, and these are some of the conditions where you get automatically, but automation is not obvious because nothing is easy with these people. Automation means you don't actually undergo health assessment. But health assessment is not the only problem. The level of benefit is too low, and the process of applying for anything is almost impossible if you're a sick person. And the professional cannot help them because they lack resources. I know it for I work for those organizations. I'm an advisor, so I know what I'm talking about. And if you're pregnant, you should get a limited capability for work-related activity automatically. If working or getting ready for work could be a risk to your health or your baby's health, there are always caveats. So it's not straightforward that you're going to get it because you are pregnant. There is always a caveat, which means it's not really straightforward that you're going to get it anyway. If you ask me, you are less likely to get it than get it. Because you see, you may be pregnant, but the Department of Work and Pension, we may say, you are not pregnant enough, such that the pregnancy is not affecting your work, or is not even affecting your baby. Now, you want my pregnancy to affect me so badly that I am not able to even breathe or even look after my baby in the womb. You want me to be so badly off before you give me benefit. Who told you that my benefit, my wanting I need benefit because I'm poor? I want to get out of poverty, not because I'm sick. If I'm sick, I need medical support. The government is on drugs or on what? This is a question. It's not an accusation. So the government should ask itself. So, try and tell your work coach and make a note on your online account. So much to do, so little to get. You will need a way to wait 3 months to get the extra money. Okay, I say 3 hours is enough. If you really do some work related to requirements, the Department of Work and Pension might decide you can stop doing them before 3 months because they think you are actually sicker than you should be, or the sickness is affecting you more. That is when you might be able to get limited capability for work-related activity. But why the complications? It's like reading a jigsaw. They might still ask you to complete a UC50. This is a form you fill, especially if you have another health condition or disability. The sicker you are, the better off you are in terms of benefit, or so you think. So if you are pregnant and you are also at risk, if the Department of Work and Pension, it doesn't matter what the doctors say, it does little. Because there is a chance. It's like playing a lottery. If the doctor says you're sick, the DWP might listen to the doctor. Normally they don't. They listen to their heads. To get limited capability for work-related activity automatically, the risk your client is having to your health must be serious. So you must be really, really suffering. The risk must be serious. What is the meaning of serious? If you are not a doctor, how serious do you want somebody to be? Are you a wizard or a witch? Of course you are not. You are the government department. So you want people to be really, really bad enough to get benefit. What kind of country have you become? So the Department of Work and Pension don't define what counts as serious. See? It depends on your circumstance. What is it? So this is actually convolution, lack of clarity, excuses, more of the same. Why don't you simplify the system and help the British people out of poverty once and for all, whether they are sick, especially if they are healthy? I will say, wise up. So then, you can find the decision makers guide somewhere on gov.uk if you are interested. Go on the government website and read more about this scenario. If you get employment support allowance, ESA is a type of legacy benefit for sick people. And I've already said before, what is the government trying to prove by giving sick people benefit? Did they say they want benefit? No. Sick people need medicine and care. I don't know what is wrong with the government. Somebody is sick, you give them benefit. Come on, don't give sick people benefit. Give them health care and medical care. Perhaps if you want to recruit some nice people to visit them at home, to clean their homes, that's what they need. If you're serious, try to pay specific amount of money for purposes of caring for sick people. If you don't want to use the medical system, the health and social care system, and what has gone wrong with the government cannot provide money through the social services to help sick people when they are sick at home. They want to give benefit, which they don't actually give because the conditions are ridiculously complicated and so impossible. You talk of a government system, everywhere you go, there is an impossibility, there is a barrier, a tediousness. And this is what I'm talking about. I'm using the benefit infrastructure to show how failed the system has become, and to wake the British people up, to wake the people of the world, to start looking after yourself. If you start relying on the government, then you are actually creating problems for yourself. You are to blame for your misery, for your war, for your war. Because, the public sector are shut down. The private sector will shut down last. The small and medium businesses are shutting down now. Big businesses will shut down. And the economy will shut down. We will enter into an age of technology. That is what society is being prepared for. If we will live peacefully, it's going to liberate us from all our troubles. But the human problem remains. The development, maybe with technology, fulfill our desires for consumption. There's nothing wrong with consumption. Technology can provide that free of charge. But if we don't learn the culture and don't learn peace, technology and wealth will be weaponized, and that will accelerate the process of our destruction and annihilation. We'll talk about termination of humanity. So if you're sleeping, wake up. I'm not preventing you from having fun. Have as much fun as you like. But stop asking me funny questions. Because you see, the question is on the wall. The writing is on the wall. Young people, children, wake up. Take responsibility for your life. Go and fight on the street if you want, if you are an idiot. Stop fighting. Be helpful. Start thinking how to build your own house at 14 years. When you become 18 years, how are you going to get land? How are you going to talk to your member of parliament. Let your member of parliament speak to the ministers and to politicians to give you land, to give your parents land, so that you can grow your own food. You don't have to go to the supermarket because there is no money. The cost of living is living proof. The government has not done anything to get people out of poverty, even in the face of the cost of living crisis. It is instead asking the British people to go into libraries, to stay there because they cannot warm, they cannot eat their homes. They're running away from cold, they're fleeing, they're being sent into exile, known as... They're seeking asylum. The British people are sent to seek asylum in public libraries, churches. And those places are shutting down because they are public facilities. Public facilities are shutting down. Where has the government been? And so, if you have limited capability for work-related activities, you will get the extra money straight away. Well, do you have limited capability for work-related activity? The answer is yes and no. Because if you are sick, that means you are very, very sick in straight language. Limited capability for work-related activity means you are extremely sick, according to the Department of Work and Pension. But even if to get that decision is an impossibility because of the health assessment, remove the health assessment today, 90% of every sick person in the United Kingdom will get sickness benefit tomorrow. But with health assessment, don't let the government deceive you. There is no health money because you cannot get it because of the health assessment system, which fails every sick person consistently. You have to go to court, take the government to court for something like about £400 per month. And by the time you get out of that court, I don't know how much money is left in your pocket. You don't even know if you are going to win in the tribunal. The health worker, the advisors who used to support people for appeals and for challenging the Department of Work and Pension, have no resources. The government has hamstrung these projects. So you see, the government, in as far as the public sector is concerned, is dead, is gone. It's a vicious circle. It's like living in hell. You run from here, you stop to take a breath, you find another demon chasing after you. And that is the situation within the public sector, a vicious circle. You keep moving from one place. There's something called referral, or there's something else called signposting. It's the name of the game. You phone a service, you wait for 30 minutes, you speaking to the machine, blah, 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 machine keep moving you from one place to place. If you speak to a human being, okay, no, you have to ask you a few questions. Oh, we are going to refer you here. And then you go there, you refer to somewhere else. Because people don't have resources, they want to help, but there is no resources. The government has shut down the public sector. That's why I'm talking about the benefit. To try and explain with evidence that, the government is beyond crisis. You talk about crisis, it is over. So I am alerting the British people to get up and go to their member of parliament and get the government to give them land to produce their own food, to build their own houses, to build their own hospitals, build and discover their own technologies. I mean, if you are a family or you are actually living in a community, you have to be well equipped, like soldiers on battlefields. You should be jack of all trades, going back to the future. Going back to the future. You have to know how to do plumbing. You have to know how to do carpentry, roofing, bricklaying, brick making. To build your own house, you have to be the best architect. To produce the best architecture for your building, for your home. You have to be able to fit your own kitchen, be your own electrician. You see, you are a gas engineer. That is time now for us to become communities. We have to be medical doctors doing our own surgery. We have to produce medical experts in the community. If you are a doctor and you are listening to this, start thinking of working with community families in the communities to support them to become medical doctors. I'm inviting coalition of medical doctors to come together and give their time to train young people and old people, women. I see children who can understand things, train them to become surgeons, to become psychiatrists, to become dentists. Because the government has shut down the country, the public sector is gone. And you should be teachers, professors, should be actually in families. To actually teach yourself how to learn cybersecurity, computing, build your own computers, build your own robot, build your own car. If you want to drive a car, build your own car. Also, develop your own test centers. Be your own driving instructor. This system should develop in the community. You don't need the government anymore. The government is shut down anyway. And there is another government shutting down also, the private sector. The small and medium business are shutting down. Big business will eventually shut down. And rich people will access technology and the wealth of the nation. We want that to happen among the many who will lose their jobs in the next 50 to 100 years, beginning now. And that's why I'm talking in these terms. And leave a comment below. Thank you so much if you watched this far. If you watched this video this far, subscribe to my YouTube channel and leave a comment and let me know what you're thinking. Because this is the time we need to really get talking. We need to get to work as individuals, as families, as communities. Learning respect, discipline. Otherwise, there is no peace for the wicked. You might still need to fill in the UC50 form. I actually fill out U50 form many times. Sometimes speaking with people who are deaf. I still have to talk to people who are deaf without any hearing aid. The government says they are actually sick, but they can work. They should fill out forms. They cannot do it. It takes sometimes 1 hour or 2 hours even. People who do not speak English. You have to really explain to them. You have to get an interpreter, which costs more money to organizations. You see 50 a form is a monster. Assessment is even worse. You fill the form and you go to an else assessment. It depends on which type of ESA you get. So these are some of the situations we're talking about. Leave a comment below, let me know. I'm so excited you have been listening to me. And next time we meet, we're going to continue talking about different aspects of government policy on benefit. And the reason I'm doing this exercise primarily is for people to understand what is going on with the government policy. But I don't have to tell you, because this information is on the government website, is on the government on public website of different organizations. You just go online and read about it. If you don't feel like reading, go and have a cup of coffee somewhere, and or maybe go and walk in the park, and you can talk to your family and friends. They probably know a thing or two about government policy. I mean, you have to be an expert. This is information age. I mean, everyone should have knowledge, should be an expert or something, because that is the lifeline, that is how to survive. Especially if you are a teenager, 14 years, 13 years, 15 years, 19 years. If you think you're too young to bother yourself with government policy, with politics, be my guest. Be my guest. Do what you want to do. But sooner or later, your parents are going to be homeless. Your parents might commit suicide because of poverty, because of all sorts of problems, cultural problems, divorce, domestic violence, abuses of different sorts, within families, within communities, within societies, on the street, in schools, cyberbullying. These are products of cultural failings. And we cannot shy away from it, because we are humans. We don't walk away from our problem quietly or in any way. We are not going to walk away. We have to face up to our demons and actually rise up. We have to get out on the other side victorious. We cannot afford to fail. We are humans. And that is the whole point. That's why I'm talking. And I am so glad you have been listening. Subscribing is free. It's the best way to support a content creator like myself. And giving feedback is very important. Everyone is busy. You're so busy at work. If you're lucky enough to still be working, you're busy doing work-related activity with the government because you're sick, but you are required to do some work-related activities. And you are happy or you are sad, doesn't make any difference. It's government policy. But the basis of our life is that we need to access income today. The government is not going to give. We have to look in the marketplace. We have to be relevant. If you're a child, develop your skill today. Build your own car. Build your own engine with your friends. Instead of going on in the park, taking drugs, doing strange things on the street, killing one another, doing stupid things. What you need to do now is be workers. Prepare to start working for yourself. Build your own computer. Go online. Have 2 or 3 friends. Do research. Be an expert on a topic. If there is a problem to do with the environment, know why that is happening. If you want to be a campaigner, join the campaign today and do something with your life. Be active. Be relevant. But have respect. Learn your culture. Respect your parents. Respect yourself. Respect money. You don't really waste money. Learn how to manage your debt. Learn how to manage your finances. Go online. Go on YouTube channels. There are better YouTube channels than mine. If you think mine is not good enough, fair enough. I have actually given you this idea. Go and do the work and look after yourself. See you in the next video. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.